Welcome to Formula Zone, your daily summary of quick news in the Formula One scene. Mercedes will bring new upgrades to the British Grand Prix, hoping to build on a positive weekend in Canada. Lewis Hamilton and George Russell have only shared 5 podium finishes this season, but a strong outing in Canada has given the team a brighter outlook for the upcoming races. The Silver Arrows have struggled to compete for race wins this season because their cars lack the pace of the Red Bulls or Ferraris. Even when coping with the high porpoising, Hamilton and Russell have produced some great performances, such as in Baku when they placed 3rd and 4th despite heavy bouncing. With upgrades introduced at the Spanish Grand Prix, Mercedes made a breakthrough in resolving its porpoising issue. When the track surface is smooth, like it was in Barcelona, they can run their car low to the ground and with a stiff setup, and the hope is that they can do so again in Silverstone and show similar level of pace. However, it has discovered that in order to get the maximum performance out of its car, it must run very low to the ground, which has proven difficult on rough tracks. Hamilton noted that the Mercedes W13 ride height cannot be increased in their struggle against porpoising. So in the last race, Azerbaijan, and previous races, we've raced the car and you still have bouncing, he said. Porpoising is more about the flow structure underneath the car, so we've run the car very high most of the season. And it's not until Barcelona that we started to be able to get it a little bit lower. We had no bouncing for the first time in Barcelona except for in the high-speed corners, and then it appeared again in Monaco and in Baku, so we had to race the car again. But even when we raced the car, this thing still bounces, and we can't go any higher actually. We're limited by the rear suspension now. So we do lose performance naturally when you do go higher, but this porpoising is caused by the disrupted flow underneath the car. Mercedes technical director Mike Elliott revealed that the team will use new parts in the next race to narrow the gap on leaders Ferrari and Red Bull. We will be bringing new bits to Silverstone. We'll be trying to push the car forward, trying to get some pace from the car we've got or from the package we've got, as well as the new bits we're going to add on it. However, he noted that the team was likely to be a little bit behind the frontrunners and that achieving a success would be difficult under normal circumstances. I think at the same time, though, we have to be honest with ourselves and say that at the moment we're just a little bit behind those frontrunners in Ferrari and Red Bull. And in normal race, I think it's going to be tough. Silverstone, a better track for us. Elliott is hoping that the home crowd will be a huge benefit to Hamilton and Russell, especially on a more conventional circuit than the street circuits. I think Silverstone will be a circuit that suits us a little bit better, like Barcelona did, but maybe it'll be just a little bit difficult. Whatever happens, we will push hard as we can, Elliott added. Our drivers will push as hard as we can because we want to get back to winning. Toto Wolff, Mercedes team boss, agreed with Elliott on the prospects for the British Grand Prix, adding that the team still has a long way to go until it's back where it wants to be. Silverstone was good to us in the past, and the circuit is smoother than the last 3 ones, but it's not Barcelona, he said. We should manage our own expectations and just really grind away, look at the data and come up with some sensible solutions, not only for Silverstone but going forward as well. Mercedes trackside engineering director Andrew Shovlin has said that there was a lot to improve in the car and pledged that his team will work hard to find solutions. The team in Brackley and Brixworth will continue to push hard. There's a lot to improve in the car, but it can't be translated into potential, and the race today has given us more encouragement to keep pushing to close that gap, Shovlin said. Otmar Schaffnauer says Alpine could protest Mercedes updates. Alpine head Otmar Schaffnauer has warned Hamilton that his team will try to protest a separate plan to upgrade his Mercedes car. A late technical directive attempted to minimize the amount of time cars might bounce during a race for safety reasons. The cars most affected by the porpoising risk being found illegal and hence disqualified from competing. Schaffnauer was particularly vocal against the Mercedes development, suggesting that other teams should also protest its use. It could very well be that we shouldn't be running this and qualifying in the race, the Romanian explained. If teams have brought those days, I would imagine they could be perhaps looked at after and protested. It's against the regulation as it stands today. We definitely don't have one. And unfortunately, if you do have an extra stay, you can run the car lower and stiffer and gain some advantage. Red Bull wary of Mercedes. Red Bull team principal Christian Horner admitted that Mercedes will be a factor next week when Hamilton attempts to win his 4th consecutive British Grand Prix in 8 and 9 years. Red Bull will also bring updates to the British Grand Prix after team boss Christian Horner agreed that Mercedes and Lewis Hamilton could improve their cars and make them contenders. Red Bull advisor Helmut Marko indicated that updates would be made at Silverstone. Mercedes' pace in the race today at the Canadian Grand Prix was, they were competitive. Smooth circuit at Silverstone and they could be a factor, Horner told. We know that Ferrari's good in the high-speed stuff. We saw that in Barcelona. So you'd think it would swing perhaps back towards Ferrari's domain. We knew Azerbaijan and the race were tracks that might favor us, and we've nailed those two results, which I'm really delighted with. Horner claims that the FIA is overly biased toward one Formula One team after the FIA introduced new technical directive. He said, "What was particularly disappointing was the second stay because that has to be discussed in the technical forum, and that is overtly biased to sorting one team's problems out, which were the only team that turned up here with it even in advance of the technical directive." Nico Rosberg says, "No way." Despite upgrades to his Mercedes for the race, Nico Rosberg has rejected Lewis Hamilton's prospects of winning the British Grand Prix. Hamilton has won a record 8 times at Silverstone, including 7 of the past 8 F1 races there. However, given his car's lack of competitiveness this season, the Brit is in less than ideal position to extend his record by defeating Max Verstappen and Charles Leclerc. "No, they can't win. No way," the 2016 world champion said. "They're still too far away from performance of Ferrari and Red Bull. They're still miles away." Toto, fed up with Hamilton, claims Bernie Ecclestone has alleged that Mercedes CEO Toto Wolff is fed up with Lewis Hamilton and is considering replacing him. Hamilton has had a dismal F1 season this year, finishing 6th in the Drivers' Championship. The Briton has 1 year left on his contract with the Silver Arrows. Former F1 boss Bernie Ecclestone believes Wolff has explored providing Hamilton a compensation to leave the company early. Toto is getting a bit fed up with Lewis. I don't think he's trying, do you? Let's put it another way. Lewis doesn't seem bothered about losing. It's not like him. He has a competitive nature, but he's taking losing a bit easy for my liking. Hamilton has been outperformed by his new Silver Arrows teammate this season, dropping 2 places behind the 24-year-old in the championship, and Ecclestone has questioned whether the veteran is benefiting the former Williams driver. Do you think Mercedes and Lewis Hamilton has any chance of winning the British Grand Prix? Comment below and let us know.